In this video, we'll learn how to configure a secure environment for ArcGIS Server. And we're going to do this in three parts. First, we're going to look at firewalls and ports, look at configuring HTTPS, and then request and configuring SSL certificate. In this video, we are going to learn how to configure a secure environment for ArcGIS Server security. And we're going to cover two large categories in this topic. First, firewalls and ports, and then we're going to look at a number of best practices. Okay, so firewalls and ports. So first of all, what is a firewall? What a firewall does is essentially it's a security mechanism, and it allows you to limit the number of ports through which your machine may communicate with others. And you can do this so that it allows you to more closely monitor a smaller number of ports. In doing so, you can more readily prevent and address any attacks. And you can be very specific about which ports you want to leave open for communication. Firewalls can be deployed using a variety of hardware and software implementation options, or a combination of the two. And there are a couple of deployment options you have if you want to just work with a single firewall between the server and client applications. That's an option. If you want to use multiple firewalls with a reverse proxy, web adapter, and a perimeter network known as a DMZ, or demilitarized zone, then that is also an option. You can also integrate with your existing architecture. If your organization is already using a reverse proxy, then you can configure it so that it's routing requests to your ArcGIS server on your secure internal network. So, what about those ports? So we've got a few ports that ArcGIS server uses. HTTP uses 6080, HTTPS uses 6443, and then we've also got 4000 to 4002 utilized, cluster ports 4004 and above for multiple machines, internally used ports, and ports used by other ArcGIS servers. Okay, second thing, configuring HTTPS. So initially when you stand up your ArcGIS server, it's using HTTP, which, as you probably know, is not secure. This basically means that your usernames, your passwords are sent over an internal network or the internet, are not encrypted, and as such, they can be attacked, intercepted. So to prevent this, it's highly recommended that you enforce a secure sockets layer, SSL encryption, and you can do this in a couple different ways. You can do it by using a mix of HTTP and HTTPS, wherein you're using a secure option for passing credentials through, but for all other communication, you're using HTTP. You can also use exclusively HTTPS, in which case you're requiring the secure sockets layer encryption for all the communication. The only bad thing about this is that it may affect the performance of your server, but it will be much more secure if you do use it. So requesting and configuring the SSL certificate. When you stand up your server, it's coming with a default self-signed certificate. And you can use this self-signed certificate. You're going to see some issues arise if you do. And so it is recommended that you go ahead and request an SSL certificate from a trusted certificate authority and then configure your server to use it. This could be a domain certificate that your organization issues. The issues that will arise if you use the default self-signed certificate include, that you're going to get consistent warnings that your site is not trusted by whatever browser you may be using. You may encounter sort of strange behavior when you're configuring utility services or doing a couple of other tasks. So once again, it's highly recommended that you request that SSL certificate from a trusted CA. So that brings us to the end of this video. So in this video, we learned some of the key things you can do to configure a secure environment for ArcGIS Server.